Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bianca if you're new. If not, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing my February TBR. It's still July when I'm filming this, so I don't quite know if I finished my January TBR, but as one of my reading goals for 2023, I don't want to stress myself too much if I'm not reading all of the books on my TBR. I have a habit of not reading any of the books on my TBR anyway. So I'm not gonna be heartbroken or feel like a failure if I haven't finished all of them. So my new goal is just to read as many books as I can, and well, not as many books as I can, as many books as I want, because sometimes my mental health kind of interferes with wanting to pick up a book. Sometimes I get sucked into fan fiction and I don't pick up a book. If you can hear anything in the background, it's Blossom. She wants out of the room because I've closed the door, but I need to film. So no more being upset or pressured. I do want to get great content out to you guys, but I also want to do what feels right to me. So I have a lot of books on this list. Some of them are books I definitely want to get to this month. Some of books are I'm just feeling them and I kind of want to pick them up, and hopefully I still want to pick them up when February rolls around. So we'll get started with the books I definitely want to pick up. So the first one I have is it is a new release. Yes, came out this year. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is kind of like a fantasy romance, I believe, about a professor who's writing the first encyclopedia about fairy lore. So it's about Emily, who arrives at this village very focused on writing her book, until she meets a new arrival named Wendell Bambley. Until she meets another new arrival named Wendell Bambley. So as she gets closer to solving the mystery of the Hidden Ones, which is like the most mysterious of the fairy creatures, I believe, she starts to come up to other mysteries like who's Wendell, why is he here, what's he want, things like that. So this just sounds really good. It is the first in a new series, so I'm adding another series to my unending list, but really want to pick this up. The next is another first book in another new series. This is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I've heard amazing things. I'm really upset I missed out on the Fairy Loot edition of this book because it was beautiful, but this just sounds really good. It's like, the series is called Regency Fairy Tales. So this is the first one. I do have the other two that have been released so far, but this one follows Theodora, who was cursed by a fairy to not sense fear or embarrassment, to not feel it. So unfortunately, this leads her to an accidental scandal. So while she hopes to get through an uneventful London season, she's unfortunately drawn into fairy affairs when she comes across Elias Wilder, and he draws her in once he discovers her condition. Well, once he discovers her curse. So this just sounds really good. I love like Regency romances, and this is Regency romance with fantasy included. So I definitely want to pick this up, and hopefully if I like it, I'll pick up these two too. These follow, I believe, different characters, but the same world. So they're connected, but not about the same characters. So I do look forward to these. Still really sad about the Fairy Loot editions because these are coming out next and they're pretty. The next one I really want to pick up is the second and last in a duology. So this is Four Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I read Dial A for Aunties at the beginning of last year and loved it, and I definitely want to pick this up because it continues that story. So it seems like there's another mystery in this one, including another family that has like a wedding planning business, like the main character Meddy and her aunts and mother. But I don't want to go too much because this is a sequel. But Dial A for Aunties, Meddy is set up on a blind date by her mother, and unfortunately he ends up dead. But I loved that book because of the family connection, and it was between the three aunties and her mother and Meddy, and it was funny and really cute. There's also a little romance between Meddy and an ex-boyfriend that got away, so definitely want to pick this one up. So this next book is a new release. Is it also released for this year, or was it last year? No. And it was also released this year. This is a book of the month pick, so this will hopefully be my book of the month book for this month. This is The Reunion by Kayla Olson. This is like a second chance romance, or second best friends to enemies to best friends to lovers kind of thing, where we follow a child star who's coming back for the reunion of her sitcom show. I believe it was a sitcom, teen drama. And her love interest on the show was her real life best friend, and then when the show ended they had a falling out and they haven't talked since. So she's reconnecting with this best friend and he may become her future boyfriend. We'll see. The next one is one that we've probably seen all over BookTube and BookTok and Bookstagram. This is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I have the original copy, and then I also have this gorgeous Fairy Loot edition. So this will be the one I'm reading, but this one's too pretty not to put on camera. So this is about Dracula's bride. It's brides. So it's also a like letter to Dracula, I believe. I forget what it's called. But this has sounded so good, and I've heard so many people rave about it that I want to pick it up. And I believe what did I do? I believe I got the ebook first and I got this edition, read the first few pages, and was like, I want to annotate. So I got the original hardcover. Well, the newly released hardcover, so that I could annotate it. So like I said, this is about Dracula's brides. It is sapphic, and I believe there are trigger warnings for abuse, but definitely one I want to pick up. So the next one is one that I've had for a while. I've had this for a couple of years, and I kind of want to read it before I have to unhaul it. But this one sounded so interesting when I heard about it. I don't remember where, because like I said, it was years ago, but this is Lovely War by Julia Barry. So this kind of follows like Greek gods as they're looking over a romance between two couples during World Wars I and II. So I think it has Aphrodite, Ares, Hades, Apollo. So a bunch of different gods. I really love anything that has to do with Greek mythology. So I did want to pick this up. It's kind of a romance with some history thrown in. So I am still interested, but like I said, I've had it for a couple years, so I'm hoping I can pick this up. So the next two are ones that I am interested in, but are books that I know I'm going to pick up at some point. One is the first book in a series, and the other is a second book in a series that I hope to finish this year. But first we have Twisted Love by Ana Huang. I started this and I was really enjoying it, but I put it down because I wanted to pick up something else, and I just never got back to it, which seems to be how I was feeling at the end of last year. I kept picking up things, enjoying them, and then putting them down because I couldn't finish them. But this is a brother's best friend romance, and kind of like forbidden romance. But I've heard great things about these, and I definitely want to move on to book 2, which is supposed to be a Princess Bodyguard romance. So we'll see how this goes. And the final book that I hope to get to in February is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the second book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. Recently, Holly Black released The Stolen Heir, which is the beginning of a new series in this universe. So I do want to read that one because it sounds great. And these books aren't terribly long. I read The Cruel Prince a couple of years ago. But this follows Jude and Cardan. Jude is a human who had a fairy father, and he kidnapped her and her sister back from their mother, and they've been forced to live in the fairy world since. And the fairy aren't very nice to humans, so she's had to struggle with that. And Cardan is the prince, and he's kind of been the worst to her. So this series follows them, and it's kind of a haters to lovers romance. But I've heard great things, and I did enjoy The Cruel Prince. I'm not sure how much of it I remember, and I'm not sure if I should pick it up before I pick this up. If I should pick it up and reread it before I pick this up. But I do want to finish this trilogy. That's hopefully one of my goals for this year. I want to finish at least 10 of the trilogies I'm already in the middle of by the end of this year. So we'll see how that goes. But this is definitely on my TBR for this month because, like I said, I've heard good things. Although I think the best one in the trilogy is supposed to be the third book, which is The Queen of Nothing. But we'll see how that goes. So I have to read this one. I want to read The Queen of Nothing, and then I also want to do How the King of Elfham Learned to Hate Stories, which is the short story collection about Cardan, and then pick up The Stolen Heir. So let me know down below if you think I should pick up The Cruel Prince. I believe it's been like 2 years since I've read it, or if I should just dive back into the world in The Wicked King. So these are kind of all the books I hope to get to this month. Like I said, I'm not going to be upset if I don't read them. Like, I'm not going to be torn up about The Wicked King or The Lovely War or Twisted Love and these two from the Regency Fairy series. But it's heavy, it's a lot. But none of these books are like ridiculously long except for this one, The Lovely War. So we'll see how that goes. So let me know down below if you read any of these books, how you felt about them. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Should I not waste my time? So let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. And don't forget to pick up a good book. Bye.